We are finally leaving Egghead. After 2 years, remember, this arc started in August of 2022. It seems our adventure in the island of the future is finally at an end. And it ends with a chapter called Best Friend. And I'll talk about this later, but Borsalino Kizaru is a very interesting character, and this chapter made him even more interesting. But let's start with the chapter review. So we start with Morgans. I love Morgans. He's basically a caricature of modern media. I mean, use their desperation to stoke their fears, paint a picture of the bleakest future possible. He gets into a fight with Vivi because obviously media is evil and Vivi is the good princess. This may be commentary, this may be just Morgans being Morgans, but he has a point when he says that with his balloon ship machine thingy, he is safe from the world drowning, so this era is perfect for him. Then he starts talking about everything that happened around the world during Egghead, similar to the summary we got last chapter with Vegapunk about what happened in Egghead itself. We see the destruction on Egghead Island. A crying Sentomaru leaves, his mentor, his savior has died, and Borsalino answers the transponder mail, the call from Sakasuki, and he seems his usual self. Now this is interesting. Neither Sentomaru nor Borsalino were affected by Joy Boy's haki. Sentomaru I can understand because he's an ally, and Joy Boy's haki seemed to make everyone who is not an ally to pass out. But why is Borsalino conscious? Is he that powerful, or is he wavering? He may still betray the Navy. I guess it depends on his next interactions with the 5 elders, in my opinion. Sakasuki also asks for the safety of Saint Saturn. That means he didn't know that the other elders went into the island, and makes me wonder how much does he really know. And I love this next page because Borsalino is mourning the loss of his best friend who was killed by his hand, and he gets angry at Sakasuki. We've never seen this much emotion in the face of this man. He said he was a cog in the machine, but he's evidently more than that. He has a heart, and it hurt him to kill his best friend. Interestingly, Sakasuki backs off and understands what Borsalino is going through and respects Borsalino's situation. But then we go to the Vikings ship, and we now know that the party of the last episode, it was a fake out party. All that starts with fake out deaths, and now fake out parties. We can't trust this man. Frankie gives an explanation of what we already know, that they were in a terrible situation and they were very lucky to escape. I don't know if they would have been able to escape if not for the giants. Zoro is also his usual self. He's very harsh, but it's also true that he barely made any contact with Vegapunk. Maybe he's the one who had less interaction with the Vegapunks out of all of the Straw Hats. Lilith wakes up and she gets a call or a message or something, but it's very quick. It's barely 2 beeps and 1 panel, but apparently in only those 2 beeps she got all the information she needed. She does cry for 1 panel, but then she gets hungry and starts smiling. It's interesting that she's the evil part of Vegapunk, because we have seen her done evil stuff, but there seems to be a reason for what she does. She never does evil things because it's fun to be evil. She does evil things because there's a need to do evil things, like robbing pirates for their money, like in the start of the arc. She goes to it and then she finds Luffy very depressed, and yeah, now that I think about it, she mentions this, but now she has to take care of her basic needs now that York is not connected to her. And this is important, she's no longer connected to York, so York doesn't know that she's alive even though she woke up. Then she goes into a little monologue, then she says some stuff that I think we'll need to wait for the official scanlations to know, official translation, to really dissect what she says at this point, because we've, as a community, we've already been in the point where the fan translations get some things wrong. But she says it's all a matter of perspective. Here's the truth. To put it simply, everyone's alive, even if they're functionally dead. Does that mean that she's connected to Punk Records and everyone's consciousness is in Punk Records, so technically they are still alive, just not in a physical form? I think that's the theory I'm going with right now, that everyone survived. I mean, I was happy that the Vegapunks were dying because that meant that Oda was starting to kill off characters. But maybe they are not dead, only their bodies died. Or maybe she's talking about a more philosophical point of view and it's the Hiriduk stuff of everyone dies when they're forgotten, but I doubt that's what she means. And I don't know if Luffy understood what she says, because at least I don't understand fully what she meant, but she's saying that he kept his promises enough to lift his spirits and start the real end of an arc feast that we are all used to at this point, in a very fun panel with our 4 main giants and all the Straw Hats, Bonnie and Lilith too. And I'm very happy for Robin. She's so happy that she's going to see Soul again. And the narrator says, "To the long-awaited land of the giants, the fabled country of Elbaf." I see what you did there, translator, or the original, who knows, but fabled country of Elbaf. And in Elbaf there's a silhouette waiting. He seems to be drinking. Is this our new antagonist for the next arc? Is this Shanks? Maybe both. But yes, this was a really fun chapter and a really fun ending to probably my favorite arc. I'll have to think about it and wait for a couple of months, because as we know, recency bias is a thing, but there's a high chance that this will be my favorite arc. There's a break next week, so we'll see you all in the next chapter in 2 weeks, and when Sea Tactics will be the one with the job of doing this analysis. So I hope you can join us for that. Goodbye everyone!